Hello and welcome to the 2017 Dual Donegal International Rally, round 4 of 6 in this year's Clonakilty Black Pudding Irish Tarmac Rally Championship. First held in 1972, the event, held in the stunning landscape of the northwest of Ireland, is Ireland's only 3-day rally and is considered to be the jewel in the crown of Irish domestic rallying. There's a capacity entry for this year's event, with over 30 crews disappointed not to get into the main field, with those who made the cut facing 20 stages spread over 3 days, competing on some of the most iconic rally stages, which include the likes of Nacala, Atlantic Drive and High Glen. There's a top-class entry at the head of affairs. The Donegal International Rally was heading for liftoff.
It's time for the eagerly anticipated Dual Donegal International Rally, the only 3-day event left on this island, and it's one that competitors and spectators are looking forward to immensely.
First up, we see the defending champion, Manus Kelly.
It's good to be here, good to be back at the start of the Donegal International Rally, and looking forward to getting out there.
Gary Jennings is looking for win number 3.
We've won it twice, but to win it the third time is proving to be very, very difficult. We're looking forward to it, and it's going to be some battle.
Share with us what it would mean to you to win this event.
We're not going to even think about it. You know, we've just got to go out, drive every stage and try and be fast.
Outside of the World Rally cars at the head of the field, the real battle for championship honours is down to the R5 Brigade, currently led by the Ford Fiesta of Sam Moffat.
It's going to take a lot of concentration. Hopefully we can have a good run, and the championships are wide open, so hopefully we can push on it.
Everyone's looking forward to it. Thankfully the weather seems to be drying up, so hopefully we can get a dry weekend in.
Dubliner Robert Barro could really do with the R5 class win if he's to keep in championship contention.
It's great to be doing probably the biggest rally in the country, if not the biggest rally in the country, with the local Hyundai dealer.
And so the cars roll away to the action from Letterkenny on day 1 of this year's Donegal International and the opening 6 stages on this year's 20-stage event. And to the action on day 1 and the opening 6 tests, and an early attention on the 3 World Rally cars at the head of the field, sadly missing the former tarmac champion Declan Boyle, a late cry-off due to a family bereavement. And the leader on day 1 would be Donegal's Donagh Kelly. He too a former tarmac champion, but who's yet to win his home event in his highly tuned Ford Focus. Kelly was in dominant form on day 1 and indeed was quickest on every one of the opening 6 stages to take a 12.2 second lead on dry fast roads.
100, mid over jump, 200, right heavily chicane here.
Second, after 6 tests, was last year's surprise winner Manus Kelly in his S12 Subaru Impreza. Manus is an occasional competitor in the tarmac scene, but the Donegal driver used his considerable local knowledge to slot into second place. Third place after the opening 6 stages was Gary Jennings, who was 10.8 seconds behind Manus Kelly. Fortunate, in fact, to get to the end of day 1 as the half shaft in his Subaru Impreza broke just 2 kilometres from the finish of stage 3. Meanwhile, through all the opening 6 stages, Alistair Fisher led the R5 category. Machines that are contesting the Irish Series this year, as World Rally cars are excluded from collecting championship points. But it was tight at the end of the opening day as his Fiesta led the R5s by 2.7 seconds and he was 4th overall. Second in R5 and 5th on the standings is the similar car of championship leader Monaghan's Sam Moffat, who ramped up his pace on the second loop of stages on day 1 to close to within a whisper of Alistair Fisher. Sam Moffat and co-driver Carl Atkinson were pushing it now on the dry fast roads of Donegal.
130, the 6 left on crest, 80, crest. crest and flat 5 right, 100. Crest, 6 right through dip and 6 right, 60. Go. 6 right and 6 left, 100 red.
Sam's brother Josh was continuing to build his confidence after a massive crash on the recent Monaghan Stages rally, and the Fiesta driver, who's also competing on the European Rally Championship this season, was 6th overall and 3rd in R5, 17.3 seconds off his hard-charging sibling. Dubliner Robert Barro spun his Hyundai i20 on the first stage, but nevertheless was just 5.1 seconds behind Josh Moffat after 4 stages. However, the former Motorsport Ireland Young Racing Driver of the Year recipient crashed out on stage 5, ending his involvement in the Donegal International Rally. Joe McGonigal, who hails from Donegal, was also hoping that home advantage would help his rally. But on the very first stage, the Skoda Fabia driver fell back to 33rd overall after a visit to a field. Porrick Duffy and navigator Kevin Glynn were steady as you go in their Fiesta R5, 7th on the overall standings and 4th in the R5 class, with nearly 2 minutes adrift of 5th place Josh Moffat. Dubliner Aaron McHale crashed his Citroën on stage 6, ending his involvement in Donegal, disappointing for the former national champion. So back to the overnight halt in Letterkenny, day 1 of 3 over, with Donna Kelly leading Manus Kelly by 12.2 seconds.
That's nothing, you know. But it's great to be leading. I prefer to be 12 ahead than 12 behind, you know. But at the same time, it's look, we're not a third of the way through the event, so you know. But yeah, it's good, great day.
So what of the Irish Championship contenders? The leading R5 car was Alistair Fisher.
It's been a good battle all day. I've enjoyed it. It's been a big pace. Nice to get here on the big day tomorrow and Sunday as well.
So 6 stages down, we're on to day 2, and there's 8 stages and 120 kilometres stage miles to be traversed. And the excitement builds as the fans gather out on the stages, waiting to see the cream of Irish rallying traverse some of the most iconic tests in Ireland, run over some of the world's most beautiful scenery. Every vantage point is taken.
It's an absolute credit to Eamon McGee and his team that over 150 crews will start day 2 of this dual Donegal International Rally. And one of the stages they have to look forward to today is the infamous Nacala Stage. At the minute, there are flocks of spectators descending upon this viewing point for this amazing spectacle.
The Donegal Motor Club put on buses to shuttle spectators to the stages in the bright sunshine, highlighting the rally as a family fun day out, which brings in much needed revenue to the northwest region of Ireland as the drivers at the head of affairs head on to the opening 4 stages on day 2.
2, 1, go.
And over stages 7, 8, 9 and 10, Donna Kelly continues to lead in his Ford Focus World Rally car. Kelly reckoned the brake pedal was a little soft over the morning opening pair of stages, Gary Gort and Nacala, but it didn't prevent him from posting the fastest stage times as he retained his overall lead.
Long 3 right past the lay-by and very long 2 left, continues over crest, he's flat. And flat 1 right, 100 down. Long 2 right, tightest to 3, 40, down to the lay-by, 3 right minus, keep in at the lay-by, all the way down to the lay-by, here you are, through the dip, flat 1 right over crest, up, and 1 right over crest, keep left, or centre line is flat, 40, flat 2 right, keep in, 60, keep out for 2 left, flat over crest, jump unseen, flat now, 3 right, go, use the road, push, well done, well done.
Well done was the call from navigator Conor Foley. Donna Kelly was looking for his first win on his home event, and he was in the groove. After 10 stages, his lead was 21.5 seconds. Manus Kelly remained in second place in the Subaru Impreza. Kelly was the winner of last year's event, a ding-dong battle with the Citroën of Corkman Keith Cronin, the 3-time British champion and the reigning Irish title holder. Last year, Kelly and Cronin were separated by less than half a second, with the win for the Donegal driver settled on the very last stage. Gary Jennings, winner in Donegal in 2012 and 2015, was finding the pace of the 2 Kellys up front a little too hot to handle. After 10 of the 20 special stages, the Subaru Impreza driver found himself in touch but in arrears in 3rd place, some 47.6 seconds behind Donna Kelly. He was also having transmission problems. It didn't mean he wasn't trying. Veteran navigator Rory Kennedy calls the notes.
square right around the bale. And flat left over crest 40. Middle over crest 100. Crest into chicane right entry. 3 bales.
Alistair Fisher, 4th overall in the Ford Fiesta R5, led the championship runners. Fisher started the day leading the R5 class by 2.7 seconds. At the end of stage 10, Fisher's lead stood at 6.9. Going into Donegal, Monaghan driver Sam Moffat led not only the Irish Tarmac Series, but also the one-day national championship. Moffat won Donegal in a Subaru back in 2013. He was trying all he could to reel in the class leader Fisher. Unbelievable speed from Moffat.
6 left, 80, push, 6 right, 100, flat, 6 left, 80, 4 right.
With Robert Barro crashing out on day 1, Josh Moffat lay in a comfortable 3rd place in the R5 standings in his Ford Fiesta. He was in 6th place in the overall standings, 31.4 seconds behind his brother. Porrick Duffy and co-driver Kevin Glynn were 7th overall and 4th in the R5 class in their Ford Fiesta, almost 4 minutes behind Josh Moffat. Duffy was pleased with his exploits on day 1 of the 3-day event, less so with his efforts on the opening 4 stages of day 2. After 10 stages, Richard Tannehill and co-driver Aileen Kelly were 5th in the R5 class, 1 minute and 30 seconds behind the Fiesta of Porrick Duffy, and the pair were safely in the top 10 in 9th overall. Further back, John Mulholland was making his debut in his R5 Skoda, and Breed caught up with Mulholland about the work he's put into the car.
The wrapping of this vehicle was a job in itself.
Yeah, so we wanted to create a bit of a stir about getting the new cars. You know, we're a Skoda retailer in the north of Ireland, and we wanted everybody to, you know, basically see what we were going to do. Everybody's been talking about it today and yesterday at the rally, and think, you know, some people come up and said we think it's the best looking car at the rally. So that does us proud, and we're delighted with that.
Veteran Joe Connolly also gave his thoughts about competing in the magic that is the Donegal International Rally.
We're coming here since the late 70s, and it's as good today as it was back at that stage as far as I'm concerned. The crowds of people all over the place, and there's a real interest in it, and it's a fantastic event.
So 10 stages down on this year's event, Donna Kelly leads by 21.5 seconds from Manus Kelly. Gary Jennings is 3rd. Alistair Fisher in 4th place leads the R5 class.
There's hardly a nicer place in the world to be. We've had nail-biting action today and some breathtaking scenery here on day 2 of the Dual Donegal International Rally. We don't want it to come to an end, but it will do on those closing stages tomorrow. See you after the break.
Welcome back to the Dual Donegal International Rally, round 4 of the Irish Tarmac Rally Championship, and the remaining 4 stages on day 2 is our immediate focus. Donegal's been described as the coolest place on the planet 2017 by National Geographic Traveller and Ireland's hidden gem by independent travel readers, and there are growing visitor numbers to the county. The welcome is always hospitable, and families make the rally more than welcome, with homes making tea for spectators out on the stages. Crowds flock to the event year after year, and this year the organisers put the estimate at around 60,000 who purposely descended on Donegal to witness the top rally drivers in Ireland compete to try and win the biggest rally event in this country. And first into view is the Ford Focus of leader Donna Kelly. We were starting to get into it now as he tried manfully to fend off the attentions of the hard-charging Manus Kelly. After 14 special stages of this year's event, the Kelly-Conor Foley combination saw the lead cut to 7.2 seconds, due mostly to over-pressurised tyres.
2 left minus, push, 100 up mid, long 3 right, small tightness at the sign, and very long 3 left, continues past the park, 40, flat 1 right over crest.
Manus Kelly was keeping the other Kelly honest in his Subaru Impreza B12. Manus and co-driver Donald Barrett had the leader in their sights as they headed for the overnight halt. Kelly's in-car shows the huge number of spectators lining the banks and hedgerows in Donegal, watching the day's action.
Absolute 2 left. 150. Absolute 3 right, get in. 100. Absolute crest. And another absolute crest. Then very fast 3 right. 60.
Gary Jennings was finding the pace of the top two too hot, and at the end of the second day, the Subaru Impreza was third in the standings, but over a minute now behind Donegal. Jennings has toyed with the idea of making the switch to an R5 car this year, but for the moment, the former champion is sticking to the tried and tested Impreza.
Caution, braking left 60, fast 3 right in, middle of a crest and the sudden 3 right, 40, flat left max, 150, right past the fence 60, right over crest of the wall 100.
Alistair Fisher found himself off the pace in the last round in Killarney before he eventually crashed out. However, that was not the case in Donegal. The nephew of the late Bertie Fisher, a 4-time winner in the Northwest, led the R5 at the end of day 2 and was 9.9 seconds ahead of Sam Moffat's Fiesta. The dry fast roads are making for some incredible speeds, and Sam Moffat was still very much in contention as he tried to chase down Fisher, second in the R5 class and 5th overall. Josh Moffat is the current Motorsport Ireland Young Rally Driver of the Year recipient, and after 10 stages, the younger of the Monaghan siblings was still 6th overall, 3rd in the R5 class, some 51.1 seconds behind his brother. Joe McGonigal had recovered from his early excursion into a field and was now up to 7th overall and 4th in R5, a remarkable charge back into the points from 33rd overall after his trip into a field on the very first stage. And so to the final day of the 2017 Donegal International Rally, and the first of the final 6 stages of this year's event, beginning with the famous Fannet Head stage. It's a full reverse of the classic stage this year, starting on the Port Salon side, used last on stages 1 and 4 back in 2011. The weather had closed in somewhat, but there was still plenty of spectators determined to get to the stages by any means possible, as we look forward to what's sure to be a dramatic conclusion to this year's event.
It's day 3 of the Dual Donegal International Rally. We're out on Fannet Head, the first of 6 stages today. So many close battles taking place within the top of the field, the R5 class and of course the modified class, just to name a few, and plenty of spectators out to show their support.
After 2 dry days, the weather was now a factor as the rain began to fall. Over the opening 3 stages on the final day, the intense battle for the lead showed no signs of abating. Donegal just couldn't shake off the attention of second place man Manus Kelly. Actually, he lost the lead at one point, but with 3 stages to go, he regained that lead. He was now 4.7 seconds ahead. Who'd blink first? Last year's winner wasn't about to throw in the towel.
2 right, Kelly, and then absolute 2 left and big cut. Long, very fast 3 right. Absolute 1 left. Absolute 1 right. 1 left, 1 right up to the chicane.
Gary Jennings had given up trying to read in the top 2, and with 3 stages to go, the 2-time Donegal winner was now over 2 minutes behind the leader, but he did have transmission problems. The championship R5 class leader was still the Ford Fiesta of Alistair Fisher. His thoughts were not about the overall win, but about picking up the maximum in the battle for the title. With 3 stages to go, Fisher was 4th, just 0.4 of a second behind Jennings, but more importantly was 17.5 seconds ahead of Sam Moffat.
3 right plus stay in tidy, and 2 left minus over crest, tightens, narrows.
Save of the weekend? Well, here it is. Let's go in car with Sam Moffat.
And left on crest, and 5 left plus, in on crest, 40 to 6 right. Oh, no, come down. Holy. Crest only 44 left, watch this, 4 left, A plus. Opens and go on now again, 400, listen to me now again. Come on.
Unbelievable action from inside Sam Moffat's car there. After 17 demanding stages, the rally was beginning to take its toll. Joe McGonigal went out of the event 3 stages before its conclusion. PJ McDermott and Niall Burns ran as high as 14th, but their Donegal rally ended on stage 16. And so to final service, it's all to play for, with the top 2 making their final preparations.
It's nip and tuck with the wrong tyres on for the first 2, and we lost a fair bit of time to the 2 guys, and big push in the last one. We've pulled back 7 seconds again, so we're back in the lead with a slender.
Manus Kelly too was making his final preps.
nip and tuck there, so it is. We did very well in the first 2 stages. First one was lethal slippy, and we got good grip and downings and we pushed on. But we went into Glen and I think we were just a wee bit slow starting, you know. That's all to play for.
For Alistair Fisher, tyre choice was also critical.
Thonnet was very tricky in the wet. We were all on hard slicks, but we all got through okay. Atlantic Drive with a good push in it, so 3 to go now, and we just have to stay concentrated.
The evidence is there from watching you on the stage that you're pushing very hard here.
Yeah, we're pushing hard, and evidently so is Alistair. So, you know, there's a few seconds in it there, but we're going to have to push hard. A wee bit disheartened there. We had the right moment on the last stage there, and we thought we were on a roof, but thankfully it came back down for us.
And so to the final loop of stages in this year's Donegal International Rally. The final runs over Fannet Head, Atlantic Drive, and the last stage, test number 20 of 3 demanding days at Glen. And it was to be a dramatic conclusion to this year's event as we tease you by bringing you the top 8 in reverse order. Stuart Biggerstaff and Anthony Nestor in the Subaru Impreza World Rally car were 8th overall. 7th, Callum Devine and Brian Hoy in the Opel Adam. And the winner of Class 2. We'll have more action from all the other classes next week. 6th and 4th in R5, Porrick Duffy and Kevin Glynn in the Fiesta R5. And so to the top 5, and in 5th, Josh Moffat and James Fulton in the Ford Fiesta, taking 3rd place in the R5 category and a haul of championship points. 4th and 2nd in R5, Sam Moffat and Carl Atkinson in another Fiesta, which enabled the Monaghan driver to retain his overall Tarmac Series lead. Plagued by transmission problems, Gary Jennings, however, managed to get his Subaru home in 3rd place and 2nd in the World Rally Championship class. Jennings will have to wait another year to take his 3rd Donegal win. Alistair Fisher in his Fiesta R5 was 2nd overall, and he took top spot and maximum points in the championship. He finished 40.7 seconds ahead of series leader Sam Moffat to close the deficit to 7.5 points with 2 rounds remaining. Unfortunately, on the penultimate stage, Atlantic Drive, Donagh Kelly put his Ford Focus off the road in what was described as a soft roll. And though he finished the stage, he withdrew from the rally, ending his bid for his first Donegal win. Not surprisingly, Manus Kelly coasted to victory on the final stage. He chased Donagh Kelly hard all weekend, never letting the leader settle, and the Glen Swilly man took his 2nd consecutive win in Donegal as he headed back to the victory rostrum at the Errigal Hotel in Letterkenny and to a hero's welcome.
It was just a brilliant rally, and unfortunate to see Donagh go out the way he did today, but you know, it was a great rally, and I'm delighted to be here.
It's nice to get 2nd, but I have to say, you know, well done to Sam all weekend. He pushed us really hard. I think it's you know, credit for the R5s to be battling with the times they have been, so we're very pleased with the end result.
What a weekend, battling with Alistair all weekend, and it was nip and tuck the whole way. He kind of put the nail in the coffin at Atlantic Drive, and he sunk that home. We tried again on Glen, and with a few massive moments, we just had to leave it at that. So yeah, an eventful weekend.
And the top 5 in this year's Donegal International Rally. Manus Kelly the winner then. Alistair Fisher took 2nd place and the championship maximum points. Gary Jennings 3rd, Sam Moffat 4th, Josh Moffat in 5th place. In the championship, Sam Moffat now leads 57 points ahead of Alistair Fisher on 49.5. Then comes Josh Moffat, Joe McGonigal and Robert Barrable.
A disappointing finish to the rally for Donagh Kelly, but for Manus Kelly and Donald Barrett, what an emotional homecoming back here at the Errigal Hotel. They've taken back-to-back wins here in Donegal, and so well deserved. Now, with Sam Moffat taking 2nd place points in the Irish Tarmac Championship, he still heads up that championship, and we will head to the Ulster Rally for the penultimate round in a few weeks' time.